All right, hello everyone. Um, so I have, temporarily kind of stepped away from things a bit, but wanted to just jump on here real quick as, somebody graciously sent me a gift card. So I am going to take the necessary steps to put a couple of those, attempts to good use here for a golden shot for you guys. So here you can see first off that the wind is going to be between 5 and 8 miles. That is indicated at the top left up there. And also, going to the golden shot bag, we're going to be looking at the long iron. 66 accuracy is going to convert to about 1.7 per ring. And I usually play very close to that. It might just be a little bit on the high side estimate where I need to go a little bit less than that. So, maybe even 1.8, 1.9 wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing to use for your ring correction. But the method that I recommend going about making your attempts for this hard hole are going to be, going off the fairway that is in the middle. Here you can see I am using my card for some of the attempts here. You can see we're not quite towards max, not to mention, I think there's some elevation issues. But what you're going to see me do is I'm going to kind of center this fairway a little bit. And in this case, I'm going to use backspin. Normally, I might not. But here you're going to see me add some backspin and maybe just a slight amount of curl. So here, 1.9-ish. We're going to go 3.5 rings here. And I'm going to just gently curl it as well. Now, if I hit very centered on this island, it does veer back towards the right. Here you can see it's coming in relatively nice. So I almost had it, just needed just a tiny bit more curl. But overall, not a bad attempt. Let's see. Of course not. There's some Saharas. I was hoping to get, a little better card here. But nevertheless, let's give this a couple more attempts here. You got to make sure that if you're going to play my shot, because that fairway is very sloped, that you're duplicating my land zone. So you want to make sure it's very centered on the north half there, and keep all wind adjustments, between say 2.5 rings, if it's a 5 wind, and maybe just a hair more than 4 rings. So it's going to be very wind dependent, and the spin that you apply is also going to be very wind dependent. So here you're seeing quite a vast difference here of wind angle. When I used backspin last time, now I'm even going to add just a tiny bit of topspin. So you can see the way that I'm deviating my shots a little bit, because this is a straight headwind. And, as I mentioned, so this is the smallest wind that I mentioned, and we're going to go 2.5 rings here. So I'm putting, 2.5 rings right in the center there. And we're going to, again, gently curl it to the right-hand side and let it just kind of naturally feed off this hill. And it looks like I might have just put just a tiny bit too much curl this time, and just a tiny bit not enough backspin or topspin in that situation. So that just goes to show you, looking at those two shots back to back really show you how much you need to play around with the spin. Because I went from one backspin all the way to almost one topspin. So it just goes to show you, when you're doing these golden shots, that these are factors that you always need to consider if you want to give the ball a good chance towards the hole. And we're going to take a couple more attempts here. Here you can see the wind's even getting even harder now. So now we are going to go for sure up to the 1-ish level here, because it's even stronger than last time. and I came up just a tiny bit short and right, so we're going to try to learn from that mistake, maybe just gently curl just a little bit less, and this time we're going to go 3-ish rings, maybe just a little bit more than 3 rings. Very maxed here with our approach, and let's see if I can't get that appropriate curl down. A little bit light, so it might have to do with the topspin. That's why and you really just got to, tweak around with it a little bit. It's going to be very hop specific. This is going to be a very, very challenging hole to get. But what you're at least seeing is consistent results for me. And what I do expect is you're probably going to need to hit perfect ball. It's going to be a very perfect ball dependent shot. And of course, a win like this is going to be very, very challenging. So my normal shot is going to have essentially no backspin, no side spin, nothing. Here I'm just going to add just a touch of backspin because of the fact that it seems to be maybe pointed just slightly downwind. And as I mentioned, with a 5 wind, we're going to use maybe 2.5 rings, maybe just a little bit on the light side here, 2 1/3 rings here. And we are going to use quite a bit more. We're actually going to do full curl here just to see kind of how full reacts in this situation. And it looks like it might just be just a little bit too much extra. I should have came, so with an 8 wind, that might have been enough. But you can see the ball also came up just a tiny bit short. I'm probably going to use these last 2 shots because I'm very dialed in, and it's very close. But you can see how touchy this is going to be and how difficult of a shot this is really going to be for you guys. So just make sure that you're really centering that ball up. And here, we're going to add just a little bit more curl and top spin again. So here we're going to go almost 1 full top spin. We're going to go 3 rings from this spot. And one of the things that you can do is you can kind of focus on that fairway spot, and you just need to kind of put the 3rd ring in that exact situation. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just putting that 3rd ring exactly where I kind of started. We're going to curl it kind of against the wind. I do believe that, forcing it back to the right is going to be a little hard. It looks like I just curled it a little bit too much. It just shows you, how touchy this is going to be. And it's going to be very specific to, getting the proper amount of curl down, getting the proper amount of everything. Everything needs to just be spot on for you to get this one to fall. So last attempt here, and, hopefully I can get it. At the very least, hopefully I've at least set you guys up with a solid attempt here. So here you can see almost maybe 0.8, 0.9 bars of a topspin, and we're going to do 2.5 rings here, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to pull 2.5 rings into kind of the center of that fairway a bit, and we are going to maybe just ease off the curl just a tiny bit from what I attempted last time, and see if I can't get this shooting towards the hole, hopefully with enough spin. It looks like it's just coming up short. So it just goes to show you how challenging this is going to be. But at the very least, you saw me do every shot within, 2 yards or so. They were all very consistent. If you can just focus on kind of that method and technique, I think you're going to give yourself a really good chance to make that one. So good luck there, guys, and try to catch you guys on the medium hole coming up.